All right. Hi, Celebrate Recovery. Hi. That was pathetic. Come on. Hi, Celebrate Recovery. Hey, how's everybody doing? Amazing. That's so great. Yes, we are. That's pretty. How's that? Hello. It won't work. It's okay. I can stand. My husband's so awesome. Isn't he awesome? Well, what an honor and privilege it is to be here. It's the last Celebrate Recovery for the end of this year. And you guys have been a part of it for a long time, and you ought to give yourself a hand. If you guys know that I say amazing all the time, that means you've been here consistently. And it's great. It's unbelievable because this is the answer to our malady. So any hurt, habit, hang up, Celebrate Recovery is a perfect way out. So I just want to let you guys know that, that tonight we're having small groups. We have the women groups back there and the men here, and then we have a newcomer group all the way back. You're going to get about a 5-minute break so you can do whatever you need between, but then if you'll go into group, that'd be great. My name's Christy. Yay! And I like to have options. And I'm a celebrating recovery from drugs and alcohol. Hi, everybody. So it's the 12th month, and we're going to do the 12th step. Alan did some great teaching on that, and he said he did it off the cuff, but I would say it was pretty darn good, wouldn't you? Yeah, give him a... All right. So... the 12, I have it here. The 12th step says, having had a spiritual experience as a result of these steps, we tried to carry the message and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. The scripture that goes along with the Celebrate Recovery step is, brother, if someone is caught in a sin, you who are spiritual should restore him gently, but watch yourself or you also may be tempted. So, isn't that the truth, right? So we put ourselves in some crazy situations where we're trying to help somebody and then we're knee deep into the problem. I know that I've been there a few times. So I brought my Jenga game. Yay! I did not ask my husband to come up to do it because I don't need it together. And I'm really good at not having the pieces together. So that worked out perfect. So the first part of the steps says that, it says that we had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps by taking the steps of recovery, right? 1 through 12. So 1 through 11, having had a spiritual awakening because of these steps, we take this next action. And so we have to take into consideration that we need to work the steps to get to this step. Although I feel like, when we get to carry the message, we get to do that from day one. Just showing up at a meeting or sharing your experience with someone that is new. Any of those things are just showing up here. You guys are carrying a message of the solution, and that's amazing. It really is. It takes that's what I think that if I want to emphasize anything this evening, it's that we can take these steps. There's all different things that we can do to be in action in recovery from our hurts, habits, and hang-ups. And we just simply need to walk in that direction. We can be out of control and ridiculous and making bad decisions, and we can stop. And we can say, okay, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And that is the first little piece of foundation. We don't have to have all of these things build up to have something going on. We can literally just say, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this. And our lives start to change. So we have to do 1 through 11 to get to this step. 1 is we admitted we were powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors, that our lives had become unmanageable. My life was definitely unmanageable. The second step is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And 3 is we made a decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. So when we take the first 3 steps, first we make the decision, and we start to have a foundation. And I don't know about you, but my entire program is based on the foundation of making right choices, taking steps for recovery, and continuing to do so that it stays strong. So the first 3 steps for me were realizing I had a problem. That wasn't too hard because, I was facing 11 years in prison for 21 counts in dealing stolen firearms. So I was like, yeah, pretty out of control. Just a little, maybe a little out of control. So I knew that my life was unmanageable. I knew it was out of control. And then I had to decide that the way I was doing it wasn't working. That maybe there was something to this God thing that y'all talked about. I had no belief in God whatsoever when I first came in. I love him with all my heart now. It is the foundation of my sobriety, is my relationship with him. And it really is. I tried it so many other ways. I did have a higher power. When they first told me that I could have any higher power I wanted, I chose ALF. Now, anybody old enough here to know what ALF is? Well, I thought that dude was really cool back in the day. Now, this is 20 years ago or so, but I thought he was the coolest thing. And if I could have anything, then he'd be the dude. And, but yeah, that didn't work. And I drank again. Whatever. I do. My husband and I went on a trip just a little while ago, and we found an ALF. I really wanted to buy them, but they wanted like $200. I said no. All right, so then number 4 is the steps in order. Number 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. In the 4th step, I went deeper into who I was. I had always surfacely had all these things that I did wrong, and I would run them over and over again in my head and over again in my mind, and it would be the thing that would get me to drink again, because I'd done all these just hideous things that I couldn't get rid of. And so when I wrote them down for my 4th step, it was actually an extraordinary relief to literally put them down on paper as opposed to having them go round and round in my head. Number 5, we admitted to God and to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. I knew my exact nature of my wrongs. I felt like I was a hideous person. I stole. I was unreliable. I abandoned my child. I mean, on and on and on the list went. I was able to, just rattle off that easily in my 4th and 5th step, because that is what made me drink. Is that the same for you guys? Like, all the things I put on my 4th and 5th step was all the things that I thought I would never, ever, ever be able to turn around. Never thought that I'd be able to have a relationship with that young man that I abandoned. But today I do, and it's an incredible thing. So we admitted we were powerless, and then we went on and did the rest of the steps. So in the 5th step, I shared that I found, all the bad and some good. I had some good. I was very, I don't know. I can't think of anything good right now, but I was a good person too back then. I have lots of good things that I am now, but that's simply because I walked out of who I was. I should have written a couple of those things down so I could have, whatever. All right, number 6 is we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Holy cow. There was some character defects that really were working for me. I was manipulative. I got the things that I wanted. There was a bunch of stuff that I did that I really didn't know how to live any differently. And so I really wasn't sure I wanted to get entirely rid of them. But it became very clear that they would make me uncomfortable as I continued to stay sober. And then we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. So I couldn't do it alone. I could not get rid of my shortcomings alone. I tried over and over again to do it on my own, and I couldn't do it. It was clear I was not able to do it on my own. Number 8 was we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. That was freaky. I'd harmed a lot of people. including myself. But I just tore, I ripped and roared. And everything that I did was based on how I was going to get high the next time. And if you were in my way, not that I'm like a horrible person, although you would have thought so back then when you saw me, but it's who I became, because getting high was so stinking important to me that I would do anything. And so I made a list of these people that I'd harmed, and then we make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. I had lots of opportunity to make amends, and I continue to. I not only make amends to, my family and my children, I get to make amends to myself. And that really, helps me to become more of who God wanted me to be. So as I work those steps, I continue to make a strong foundation. I love that. So let's see. Oh, yeah, made direct amends. Okay, so now step 10 is we continue to take personal inventory. And when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So this one took some work for me. I could point out everyone else's faults pretty easily, and I was right. But looking at my own, it took a lot of time. I really was in this sort of idea that if you hurt me, it didn't matter what I did to you. You were wrong, and I had to react to that. And so in sobriety, I get to make decisions based on the truth that I always have a part in something. In anything that I'm involved in, I have a part in it. And when I carry around my part for too long, I feel badly. And if I feel badly, then I have to take action. So I learned early on that I needed to evaluate my behaviors, because they were a little messed up in the beginning, and they continue to be just a little messed up now. So we continue to take personal inventory when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. I don't sit in my bed and go, let's see, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? But what I can totally know in my spirit when I've done something that I need to make an amends for. And I try to do that immediately. I don't want to harm anybody today. I don't want to harm myself. So I honestly try to do this in all my relationships. Some would say it takes longer than others, but anyway. All right, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God. This is the step we talked about last month, and as you guys know, I told you that I'm really not a good meditator. I don't stay still long enough. I love it. I love to pray, and I love to, hear from God, but it isn't something I do well. And for me, this has to be a step that I practice. It's progress, not perfection. And so every day I get just a little bit better. So it brings us to this step. Having had a spiritual experience as a result of these steps, we try to carry the message to others and practice these principles in all of our affairs. By this point, I had a spiritual experience. I did not know God. I didn't believe in God. My life had nothing to do with God. And I really was hesitant. But I really, at the point of where I was sitting in jail facing 11 years in prison, I wasn't sure how I'd gotten there. I really didn't know how. It was guns, but whatever. And so I honestly couldn't figure it out. And my life was so out of control that I knew that I wanted to live differently, and I wanted to surrender. So I had a spiritual experience. I wouldn't say that I knew God at that point. I mean, I don't feel like I had a relationship with him, whatever, but I knew I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I think that for me, I thought I was going to have this big spiritual experience. But it isn't the case for my story. It's been little actions turning into amazing results. And God works through those things for me. The part that I love the most about this step is to carry the message to those that still suffer. Now, there is a community of people here that's their life. And I think it's everybody's life here because we do carry the message, and we're here for a reason, and we have a purpose. But the heart of this program and the people that are in it love the recovering people and hold their hand out all the time. Alan, Kelly, Patty, and there's 100 people that I can name that are a part of this that love you so much that they want to give back. They also do it because it's a result of the steps that they've taken prior to it. And their lives resemble this amazing thing. Like, let's just talk about Kelly for a second. I didn't tell her I was going to talk about her. It just comes to mind for me. She's taken a couple of trips, but just recently she was in Germany. Hello? Did you all ever think you'd get sober and go to Germany? No. She went, why? To visit her new grandbaby. So she went to her son and his wife and her brand new grandbaby to spend Christmas there. Now that is a miracle, right? And that isn't just for Kelly, that's for all of us, right? If we continue to do right actions, our lives are going to change. And it's going to become more and more beautiful. But part of Kelly's program is that she carries the message to others. And she's amazing. Amazing. And there's a ton of, if I could spend the rest of the evening up here talking about many of you other people here, all of you have an amazing gift and give back to this community. And that's what is the beauty. Like, it totally feeds me when I'm able to be up here and talk to you guys. It's like, it's incredible that I get this. So what I think is the best thing of all when we get to this step is that our bad is used for good. So anything that you think you've done that's so horrible that it'll never be forgiven or you can never get back or you can never, it's not true. It's a lie from the pit of hell that somehow you're not going to be able to recover and get these things. Actually, your life will become way more better. Is that a word? Way more better. It's amazing. Amazing. So you too can have a life like that. The final thing is to practice these principles in all my affairs. I do not do this perfectly. I certainly have opportunity to practice a little harder on some than others, but I still practice it, and it builds and continues to build and continues to build, and I have a foundation that is amazingly strong, one thing at a time. And so do you. To continue to have this life, I need to continually be willing to practice these principles in all my affairs. And I am today, willing. And I hope you guys are too. So give yourselves a hand. We're going to have small groups, women back here, men here. Newcomer, if you're brand new, go straight back. They'll have a sign telling you where to go. Go have a break and enjoy your night.